Are you comfortable in your own company? Could you spend an entire day completely alone and be at one with your own thoughts and feelings? I believe one of the greatest gifts in the entire world is the gift of your own company, the gift of self-love and self-worth. And I think that for any aspirational person, it's key to focus on success internally first before you seek it externally through starting a new business or starting a new career path. Now, for years, I couldn't be alone. I struggled to be with my own company, and I had to be surrounded with other people all the time. And I was struggling with this identity crisis and this lack of self-awareness. And instead of working on it, it was easier for me to just do shit with people. But it's not until I asked myself the question, Jordan, why are you uncomfortable on your own, that I realized how much of an impact it would have on my life. And I sit here in front of you, the owner of 2 successful businesses, 5,000 miles away from home, completely alone. And yesterday was one of the greatest days of my entire life. So today, I'm going to be talking to you guys about some of the things that helped me get a greater sense of self-worth, self-awareness, and inner peace. Things that enabled me and will enable you to achieve more and reach euphoric levels of happiness within your life. So the first thing I would say is stop seeking validation from other people. You do not need to do this. When I was in university, I was studying a subject that I lost love with. Ironically, the reason I went to university is because society told me that's what I had to do if I wanted to be successful. And the subject I studied was based on the validation I got from somebody else when I asked, what on earth should I study? I want to make money. I like creative. You should do architecture. I didn't validate that myself. And that's why it didn't work out. So when I was at university, I started a side business. I actually started promoting in local nightclubs. Okay, I was selling tickets on the street, getting people into the club. Now that escalated and grew into me actually owning this promotions business. And I started being the person responsible for putting on the event and hiring the promoters. And this took a lot of my time. And so I built this reputation in my city. I built this sense of ego, this sense of poise that I was the club's guy, right? I knew all the guys that I needed to get in get lists. I knew all the girls that I wanted to pull into the club. I had the contacts. If you messaged me, I'd get you in. And this gave me some false sense of importance based on validation from all these people that actually didn't give a shit about me. And that was really dangerous for me because I started putting all of my time into it and I started fueling it. And then I got kicked out of university because I stopped attending. When I stopped attending, at this point, the nightclub's event business was not doing very well. I was losing an awful lot of money, but I still had this person who I thought I had to be in my local area. And I was just kicked out of university with no revenue source and I needed to figure it out. And so I got myself in an awful lot of debt. I got myself in 5,000 to 8,000 credit card debt. And this for me was an awful lot of money at the time, right? And I was completely depressed and completely burnt out. And I needed to do something to get myself out of that position. So I got my first sales job. Now at this moment in time, sales was just the most terrifying thing to me. And I had to do 100 cold calls a day. You talk about jumping the deep end, right? So I had just started in a sales job and I was terrified. I used to walk to the edge of the office with trembling, like literally trembling, holding my scripts. Like absolutely terrified. I was useless at sales when I first started. And I was completely alone. I had nobody around me validating my success. It was a dog-eat-dog environment. If I wasn't making no sales and I wasn't actually getting sales, and I was going to get the sack. There was a massive high turnover business. But I needed to get myself out of this position. I was forced into a corner that I was in completely alone because I had too much pride and arrogance and ego to tell people that I was in a bad position. Not even my family knew that I was in this position. Nobody knew how low I was. So for the first time in my life, I was completely internalizing everything, okay, and validating my own thoughts. And in this sales job, I thought, Jordan, what can I do? What can I do to get out of this? I'm bad at sales. How can I do this, right? And I thought to myself, let me learn this sales script. Everyone around me I see is like a robot. They're walking around with these scripts, but they're reading from the same words. But as human beings, we speak differently. We have different dialects, okay? I don't speak in the way that this script speaks, and that's why I'm not resonating with it. And so I went home one evening and I learned the script off by heart, as if I was going to in a drama class in school. I learnt it, I read it through repetition, and then I had it in my mind, and I understood the reasons why what I was saying. So when I went into the office the next day, I started cold calling. I had way more confidence. I had way more poise, right? And within 3 months, I was in the top 3 performers in that entire company because I validated my own thoughts for the first time in my life, because I was forced into a corner and I had to internalize and I had to get out of it myself. And from that moment on, I realized that I don't need validation from other people. I just need to trust my own intuition. I need to trust myself and lean into myself more. And so I encourage all of you to do this one thing. Number 1, bring consciousness to the validation you get from other people already, and think about how much happiness that really brings to your life and how much purpose that serves. And number 2, master something. Learn a skill like I did in sales on your own, not with somebody else, and gain confidence within yourself. This could be skiing, this could be golf, this could be sales, right? Just master something completely alone, trust yourself, and start validating yourself. Seek validation from yourself, do not seek it from other people. Cool. Another thing I want to talk about is detaching your sense of self-worth from everything. And I mean everything. Because your self-worth is not about what you have or what you can do. It's about who you are and how you feel. So going back to that sales job and that period within my life, I had just learned and mastered a new skill, and I was earning really decent money. But my sense of self-worth was still attached to how much money I was making. Because I thought the more money you make, the happier you will be, the more worthy I will feel of happiness, and therefore the happier I will be. And I had this from before I went to university. My motivator for going to university in the first place was earning money. I thought that's what gave you a heightened sense of self-worth and therefore happiness. But I remember about a year later, when I was in a new job, a pivotal moment, I was sat in the office and I'd just come back from a holiday with my girlfriend. And we were talking about being back to reality. And it just didn't sit right with me. You know that term when we go on holiday and the week before you come back home, you say, oh, we've got to go back to reality. And that to me is just an effed up statement. When your reality is a negative thing, so you dread having to go back to it. When actually that's your normal life. That's where you're spending 99% of your time. You shouldn't ever dread that period. Didn't sit right. And so I was having this conversation in the office and I was looking around me and I was thinking to myself, wow, I'm earning more money than the majority of people who are twice as old as me. But I feel so much more awake to the world. And I realized in that moment that it wasn't money that I was seeking, right? Because money wasn't ever going to make me happy. Money was never going to make me feel fulfilled. It was overall freedom. And freedom not just to enjoy my money and my time and be able to do whatever I want whenever I want, but freedom internally. Freedom so that I am not confined or I do not attach my self-worth to any one thing. The freedom for if I'm not making money, I'm still happy. The freedom for if I'm really busy, I'm still happy. The freedom for if I lose everything tomorrow and my business drops to zero, I am still happy because my sense of self-worth is not attached to one thing. And in that moment, I denounced my attachment to finances. And I said to myself that I was never going to attach it to anything else again. Because self-worth is about how I feel. Self-worth is about who I am. Self-worth is about being alone, like this, and being comfortable in your own skin, and being a success yourself. So detach self-worth from everything, and make your life's purpose about learning about yourself and what makes you click and what makes you happy. And make your life purpose about helping other people, which is the place I ultimately transitioned to in my business. Man, I realize I can talk about this topic for hours and hours, and we can dive into each of these topics in a lot more detail, and each of them deserve their own video. So if you would like that, guys, please do drop me down a comment below if this content is useful to you. This is me just talking my mind and externalizing my thoughts, because I have these thoughts a lot alone, but I maybe don't feel confident enough to put them on YouTube, because I don't know if you guys will want to hear them. So let me know. Anyway, moving on. and I suppose where I'm getting to from this self-worth thing is you should allocate time within your life regularly to learning about who you are and what makes you click. Time on your own. And you can do this through a hobby or multiple hobbies. You could do this through business. You can do this just by going out for a walk. Get comfortable with being in your own skin. I was shocked that I actually put an Instagram story out yesterday asking people if they are comfortable on their own, completely by their own, in their own thoughts, right? And 45% of people said that they weren't. Which to me is shocking, because I attach so much of my success to the fact that I am so comfortable being in my own skin, and I don't need validation from anybody, and I am so confident in who I am and what I'm going to achieve that nobody is ever going to get in the way, and nothing can stop me achieving what I want to achieve. And if I can help you guys get that level of self-confidence, because I didn't come from this place, I was an introvert and I turned into an extrovert, and it's okay still to be an introvert, but I struggled with my own company a lot. And if I can help you get to the place I am today and feel how liberated I feel today, then I will do that in any way that I can. So what I did was I started allocating time to myself, right? When I first started the company, you noticed, you've probably seen on Instagram, in the summertime, I like to go out kayaking, right? I get out on the water. I live close to a river. And sometimes I go alone. And I spend like 12 hours completely in my own thoughts, just paddling along the river, thinking about myself. And when you are on your own, you are forced to think about uncomfortable situations. You are forced to face your demons and your insecurities, and you actually begin to love those things about you. I used to criticize myself so heavily, right? And now I love my flaws, and I lean into my flaws, and I lean into my strengths in the same light. So understand yourself. And one thing I'd like you all to do is there's a website, 16 Personalities. I'll put a link in the description. Take that and learn your Myers-Briggs scores, your Myers-Briggs code, right? Or your personality type. It's going to teach you a lot about yourself, and you'll be shocked when you start reading about yourself and the kind of person you are. Understand your strengths and weaknesses, and do not try and change them. Right? We can work on ourselves as human beings, but fundamentally who we are, I don't think you should mess with that. I think you should lean into who you are and learn how to manipulate that within the world and how to get what you want through who you are. I think that's all I want to get at today, guys. But allocate time. I tell you one thing I do, and I do this. These are almost uncontrollable moments. Every now and then in my life, I have check-ins with myself. And they're hard to explain to people because what I do is I stand and I say to myself, okay, this is one of those moments. And maybe I'm just going to be looking over something. I had one of these yesterday and I was standing on top of this canyon. And I had this thought, okay, Jordan, you are checking in with yourself right now. And I say, Jordan, this is where I am in life right now. This is how I feel. This is how happy I am. These are the things I want to work on. And let's see where we are next time we check in with ourselves. And it's like goalposts throughout my life. Maybe I do this once, twice a year, sometimes even more than that. But realistically, it's probably like once or twice a year. And I check in and I use them as mental goalposts. It's my personal development time. It's my time to say, okay, Jordan, how woke are we to ourselves? And how much inner peace do we have? So try that as well. Yesterday, I've been at a business mastermind in LA. I'm in Los Angeles right now. I'm actually in the Malibu Hills. And over the past few days, I've been at a business mastermind. And now I have ADHD. My mind is always racing and I'm always trying to think about, hence why on videos, sometimes I'm not even speaking fluent sentences very well because I'm always thinking about what I'm going to say next. And so over those 3 days of the mastermind, I had so many thoughts and I needed to internalize them. I needed to get in my own skin, right? And so I now crave my own company. I crave being by myself. And so I booked this incredible Airbnb. It's in the Malibu Hills. It's in the canyon. It's nested. And I love nature. I feel at one at nature. I feel spiritual within nature. And I just, early morning, went out walking. And I walked for like 8 hours by myself, exploring. And the landscape here is so rugged and harsh. And it's exhilarating, and I felt alive, and I screamed at the top of my voice, and I had a smile on my face the entire day, and I feel so grateful to be in my own company. And I wish that all of you guys could experience that. So I hope the things today help you to do that. I'll throw up some B-roll. This place is absolutely beautiful. I'm actually flying home today to get home, to crack on with work. But yeah, that's it. See you soon. Bye.